and welcome back to Beyond English. As mentioned in last week's video, we are continuing to look at Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley, so stay tuned for a short overview of the form and structure of the poem and continue to discover why it can be perceived as a thinly veiled attack at the monarchy. As you already know, the poem is written in sonnet form, which is an old style love poem, and you're going to be most familiar with this through the works of Shakespeare. The Petrarchan sonnet is one that existed before the Shakespearean sonnet existed, and each of them are distinct in their form. While both of the sonnet forms contain 14 lines, the Petrarchan one consists of the octave, which is the first 8 lines of the poem, and the sestet, which is the final 6 lines of the poem. And on the 9th line, you usually have something that is a turn of direction or a turning point within the poem, which is known as the volta. The Shakespearean sonnet, on the other hand, consists of 3 quatrains, which is 3 sections of 4 lines, and then it concludes with a couplet at the end, which makes up those 14 lines. Additionally, while both use iambic pentameter, the rhyme scheme differs within these poems. So within the Petrarchan sonnet, you have the ABBA, ABBA, CD, 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 or CDE, CDE rhyme scheme. And then you have the Shakespearean sonnet, which is ABAB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and ending with the final GG rhyme and couplet at the end. Ozymandias, however, doesn't adhere to either one of these. Instead, it's an amalgamation of the two. So, whilst it adheres to the Petrarchan style of beginning with the problem in the octave and solving the problem in the sestet, it actually adopts a Shakespearean rhyme scheme where it begins with the ABAB rhyme scheme. Now, most notably, that rhyme scheme breaks down as the poem continues. Now, you might be wondering why this is important to know, but there are 2 reasons why this could happen that are really vital for your analysis of it within the exam. So, first reason is to take it quite literally as a breaking down of the pharaoh's control. He loses the control as his reign of power goes on, and in the actual act of the statue disintegrating or being overcome by nature. However, it can actually be interpreted as a continuation of Shelley's attack or thinly veiled attack on monarchy. The Petrarchan sonnet gave way to the Shakespearean sonnet, and then this in its own way gives way to Shelley's own version of the sonnet form. And this is the idea that old power paves the way for new power, which again could be perceived as a call to revolution or a call for change in the ruling or the monarchy that was in place at the time that the poem was written. So the poem is written directly to the reader, and the poet speaks secondhand about this experience of seeing the statue, which is important because he hadn't seen the statue for himself. It's being told to him, or the sight of it is being reiterated to him from the point of view of this traveller. So the image of the statue is described and built up in sections until we can imagine the entire thing. However, as we know, the poem ends not with a discussion or reflection of the greatness of the pharaoh, but with the image of the lonely desert where nature has reclaimed her place. So it's this idea that human power cannot outlast the power of nature. The power of nature will always outlast the power of man. Okay, so once again, we hope you have found this content useful and gained some valuable tips that you could refer to in the exam. If you would like a written form of the information shared in today's video, don't forget you can find that by clicking on the link in the description below. Tune in next time for an overview of the most prevalent themes in the poem and a consideration of how these can be linked to some other poems within the power and conflict cluster. Thanks, bye for now.